Hello and welcome to our webinar, How to Create Your Ideal Device for an Agile Workforce with TOUGHBOOK G2. My name is Julia Kohl, I'm Marketing Manager at Panasonic TOUGHBOOK, and together with my colleague Dirk Weigelt, who is Product Manager, we would like to show you how easily you can configure our TOUGHBOOK devices and especially the TOUGHBOOK G2.
A warm welcome even from my side.
Yeah, you brought quite many things for us today. Dirk, what do you have here?
Yeah, first of all, to start off with is our TOUGHBOOK G2. It's a 10.1-inch fully rugged tablet based on Windows 10 or Windows 11. It's IP65, 1.80 m drop. You can have full connectivity even with 4G and 5G. But today I do not want to focus on the speeds and feeds of this product. Today I want to focus more about how you can customize it to your specific working environment.
Yeah, thank you. Let's start with the keyboard. This looks quite rugged. Is it IP65, right?
You're 100% correct, Julia, and the keyboard is the same as we have for the main unit itself. It's IP65 and even drop resistant. The keyboard is always a backlit keyboard with a touchpad and the two mouse buttons. But in addition to that, and you see it here on the left and then the right hand side, we have two additional USB ports, one with Type A, one with Type C, and a dedicated DC in port. So we have users who just do checklists. So for them, a tablet use is absolutely beneficial. But we also have use cases where people have to write a report at the end of the job, or persons who are not really focused on writing on the on-screen keyboard. And for them, we have this kind of keyboard here. Get the G2 in, and you can even get a bit of pressure on it because it's fully rugged. You can close it here, and you can use it here even on your hand and writing a report while you're watching on the screen. To support even users who bought the TOUGHBOOK 20 in the past, together with the keyboard, the G2 is enabled to work even and operate even here in the desktop port replicator, which is known from the CF20. So if you have ecosystem from the G1, though with the desktop cradle, or from the CF20 with the desktop port replicator, you can still reuse all these items together even with the G2.
Saves your investment, I would say.
Yeah, and even it's not only saving the investment, it's even good for the environment, less electronic waste.
Yeah. Do you want to say something about the ports that we have at the cradle? No, the desktop port replicator, difficult word.
More than happy. So what you see here on the side is two USB ports. We have here on the rear side, we have here a serial port, VGA port, HDMI, additional two USB ports, a LAN, Kensington lock if you want to secure the port replicator on your desk, plus a dedicated DC in adapter. So every time you slot in the G2 together with the keyboard area, you can charge already the unit. Gives here a lot of benefits, so if you want to use it as a desktop replacement.
Yeah, but the most interesting thing is the expansion area and the, how is it called? Something slot?
Yeah, so you're right, Julia. So we have here on the top part, we have the so-called configuration port, so which is always here secured by 4 screws. The benefit of this port is that it's end-user replaceable. So you can have in this area different items. So this can be, for example, a USB port. It can be a serial port together with an adapter cable to have the full RS-232 size. Can be a thermal camera. It can be here a LAN, additional LAN port. But for now, and this we want to show to you live how easy it is, we want to exchange it to a barcode reader.
Barcode reader? What types of barcodes can be scanned with it?
So Julia, it's a really good question. So all the kinds of 1D barcodes, 2D barcodes, plus QR codes can be read by this dedicated reader. So makes here the G2 the ideal device, for example, for a warehouse environment. So just put this 4 screw out, get the dummy off. And you see here, even the dummy is really rugged. You see here the connector. You have the other part of the connector, and then on the item here, like the 2D barcode reader, slot it in, just push it and get the 4 screws just back on the machine. So you have still the complete dust and water protection, but as well as the drop protection as you have with your main standard unit. And you see, it's really easy, convenient, takes you less than 2 minutes to exchange the complete item.
You mentioned warehouse applications, as the TOUGHBOOK device is able to be operated in cool and also hot environments. For example, minus 29 degrees and plus 60.
You're correct. Yeah, so for the minus 29, this enables the G2 to work on a forklift in warehouse environments, which can be like cooling houses for frozen goods, where you have this kind of minus 29. If it's connected to an AC adapter, which is mostly the case on a forklift, it can be also going down to up to minus 33 degrees.
33.
Which is quite impressive in terms of temperature range. If you look on the other side, it goes up to 60 degrees. So if you are in Spain and in the summer, and we all know it, in Spain it can be incredibly hot, the TOUGHBOOK G2 can survive, and you have to drink a lot on that day.
Yes, thank you. What else do we want to show today? Shall we look into this expansion area?
Yeah, we can do. So even here, so I showed you already here the configuration area, which is end-user replaceable. Here the expansion area is also end-user replaceable, and it can be equipped, what we have already here, with a smart card reader or an HF RFID for contactless smart card. And here it's really easy. Just remove the latch to the side, get the module out. Again, you see here the connector on the module. You see the connector here on the unit. Slot it in, get it closed, and it works directly. One additional point, especially on the smart card reader, is that we have here the contact smart card, where you can insert and extract smart cards up to 100,000 times. So this is quite important when working in the healthcare environment. Think about an ambulance car where they read the patient card day in and day out. They might have 10 to 20 patients every day, so 10 to 20 times in a day, 10 to 20 times out a day, which is already 140 in 7 days usage of the week. So we make sure that over the life cycle of the product, this kind of smart card reader can be operated.
That's amazing. Really high number. Thank you. And do you want to say something about the other use cases for HF RFID, for example?
Yeah, sure. For HF RFID, so there are 2 typical use cases. One use case is authentication and identification of the end user, which means you have your access card to your company, for example, for the building, and this access card you can also use to sign in to the Windows PC by this kind of HF RFID reader. This is one of the use cases. The other important use case, if you are working in facility management and you have a lot of pipes and assets you want to check, for example, working on an exhibition ground, you have to check all the exhibition halls after and before every exhibition if everything is still okay. The pipes, all the other things are tagged with an RFID tag. And if you do your maintenance, you have to go close to these kind of items that you have checked them. And before you always had to write down, I was at 2 p.m. at pipe number 3. Now you're going in direction of pipe number 3 at 2 p.m. and the RFID reader can detect this automatically and write it already in the system. So avoiding a lot of manual work.
With a timestamp, for example, in
with
the
a timestamp
system.
Correct, timestamp, location. And if you want to do something on that spot because something is broken, you can use the keyboard or the on-screen keyboard to write directly a report on that asset if needed.
Wow.
And it goes directly to the other departments who needs to repair it, for example.
Good point, yeah, thank you. Let's talk about the battery then.
Yeah, if you look at the battery and you see it here, we have here a flat battery, which comes as a standard already with 12 hours of battery life.
12 hours.
12 hours, which is normally more than enough for a standard European worker. But what we know that some people are working really in multi-shifts or working even outdoor, not having a connection to a power socket for example, for 2 days. For this kind of environment, and just remove the standard battery. By the way, all batteries at Panasonic TOUGHBOOK can be removed and exchanged, which extends the life cycle of the product.
Absolutely.
But in this case, we even have a second battery, which is called the large capacity battery, which gives you a battery life for up to 18.5 hours, which is more than 2 working days, giving you here absolutely flexibility. And if needed for multi-shift operations, the G2 can be also available on an optional level with a hot swap battery.
Hot swap battery, meaning you have some seconds to exchange the battery while running the PC or the tablet.
Correct. So you have up to 2 minutes to exchange a battery.
2 minutes.
And looking on the latch mechanism, I think no one ever will need 2 minutes to exchange the battery.
Yeah.
So even here,
it's really easy.
It's less than 10 seconds. So you have really secure time to change a battery.
Oh, yes. Maybe we can also talk about the security. I remember it's Microsoft Secured Core PC.
You're correct, and this can be handled on various areas. So it can be handled here via the webcam, which is here in this area, and we even have here the privacy shutter, which is a 2 megapixel Windows Hello webcam. So for identification of the user, but it can be also here, as I said before, the contact smart card reader. If you're in security-driven environments, put your personal smart card in, or with the HF RFID, so contactless smart card, giving you various possibilities to work on a really secure level in terms of authentication. But in addition, if your company is still using the good old password, even this is with the on-screen keyboard or the optional keyboard, absolutely possible.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm standing in front of the desktop cradle, where we can use the TOUGHBOOK tablet in the office with, just easy to adopt. And then we have many ports here at the back. Let's see how we can show them. Okay, Dirk, do you want to mention some of them?
Yeah, let's start here from the one side. So it's a dedicated DC in, so you can use your power plug on the desktop cradle directly. You have a LAN port, 2 times USB 3 ports, 2 times USB 2 ports to connect, for example, printers, keyboards, mouse as a desktop replacement. A serial port on this side, the Kensington lock. But what I want to show here quite prominently is that we have 2 ports HDMI 2.0. Enables the end user to use as a desktop replacement 2 external screens with up to 4K resolution. So for mapping, for constructions, for CAD data, it's enough horsepower in the unit already. But you can even play with 2 screens at the same time, plus the internal screen from the TOUGHBOOK G2.
So in the end, it's like you only need one device for working outdoors and on your site. And also you can dock it in and have a full desktop PC in the office.
You're 100% correct, giving you the full desktop PC experience, even with the high performance. So as you said, it's flexible in terms of use case, it's flexible in terms of application, where to use, how to use. And as we think, due to this customization, even inside of a large organization, you can adapt it to the specific use cases inside of one company. Saying that, now it's time for questions and answers. So Julia and myself, we are now available via chat. So if you drop your message or your question in the chat, we will answer them live now in the broadcast. And we're more than happy to answer all your incoming questions. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you.